Smartphones in this day and age have been drastically advanced, including the cameras. The cameras are really what starts to differentiate one phone from the next, and they are powerful. So, if you really want to use your smartphone for the camera aspect, you've got to be scratching your head. Which camera is going to be best for me? I'm here with Matt Miller. Matt, you've done so much of this legwork. You've done the testing, you've done all of that to come up with this list of best cameras on smartphones. Why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about your testing before we get into those smartphone cameras?
Sure. So for I think everyone but maybe one of these phones, I actually use the phone as a camera for 2 weeks to 4 or 5 weeks. Put it through its paces, try and landscape shots, portrait shots, animals, people, things like that, and really test it out and try to see what I think about it. And then also after I finish all of mine, then I go and I read other reviews as well, just to kind of confirm that, I wasn't doing something wrong and things like that. So spent a lot of time with these phones. And like you had mentioned, today's phones can pretty much do anything you want with a camera. And it's not just the phone, it's the person taking the shots that can really
Absolutely.
make a good photo. And if you see, sometimes you'll see a low or mid-range phone, and the camera specs might not be that high, but boy, some people have a talent for getting good photos out of any kind of camera phone. So um, but the ones we chose here, right, it's hard to just say what's the best for everybody, because the people have different things they want to either record or take still pictures of. So we broke it down in this list by kind of a category for best for different things, right? It'll be arguable. I'm sure some people are very passionate about their phone. I did give one the best phone for video, and that's the Apple iPhone 12 Pro Max. It's actually one of the best phones for still photos as well, but it's arguably the best for video. Samsung used to kind of set the bar, and LG for video, but now we see the iPhone. It is just, I don't know how much you use your iPhone, but it is fantastic for video content. It has excellent microphones on there for good quality. It switches between the three 12 megapixel cameras seamlessly. So you can go between a ultra wide all the way to a telephoto, and you don't even see that transition in the videos. And then, of course, Apple has integrated into the phone video editing software and things. So you could really do a lot with your videos on the iPhone 12 Pro Max. Um, One of the most fun phones that I've used for camera photography is the Galaxy Z Fold 2. And I don't know if you've had a chance to ever hold or use that phone.
I haven't.
It's the foldable one with that big 7.6-inch display on it.
I want
Phone
to.
has it has five cameras, right? So there's
Wow.
two on the back. You open it up, there's two more inside, and then there's one on the outside. So in every orientation, there's at least one camera. So you can set it up and prop it up and angle it and take a selfie video. You can angle it the other way. You can hold it up and have a huge 7.6-inch viewfinder. And Samsung's done a great job with that software to do all those different orientations and all that kind of stuff. So that's the best foldable camera phone. And some people often buy an iPhone because they just want a point and shoot for consistency, right? I don't want to do any settings. I just want to do auto. Well, actually, the best probably for photos to just pick up and point and shoot is either the Google Pixel 4a or the Google Pixel 5. Because Google, both of these phones have two cameras, and they're not like amazing, stunning. They're a 12 megapixel and a 16 megapixel. It's not about the hardware. But boy, Google has done a fantastic job with software algorithms. They can make there's magic behind the camera software in the Google phone. Um, every Almost every single time you pick it up, you just take it, point and shoot, take a shot. Almost every time you get a good shot. I've rarely seen a bad shot out of that phone or those phones.
Okay.
And then if you're a professional, right? Some people, this is one area where I don't do that good of a job because I don't have the time to get into
Hmm.
video mode, and I'm
Right.
not a photographer by trade.
Right.
Do it for fun. But there's people that can get in there and mess with the ISO and all the filters filtering and all this kind of stuff. So the best phone for those people that love to just have all the tweaks and very close to a DSLR would be the Sony Xperia 1 Mark II. However, I believe the Mark III, it's up for pre-order right now, which takes it to another level. But the software in that phone was actually developed with the Sony Alpha 9 camera engineers. So it has three 12 megapixel cameras, which are great, but it's really the advanced camera software that's in there. And that's definitely, it's an expensive phone. I think it's 13 to $1,500. It's not a point and shoot phone. So, only
Right.
buy that if you're pretty serious about photography. Um, Kind of thinking about some of the unique phones on my list. If you look through some of them, you're like, what is that? Right? The Oppo Find X3 Pro actually has a microscopic camera. And I don't know if you've seen this at all.
I haven't.
It's only a 3 megapixel, but it's called a 3 megapixel micro lens, but it has a 60x magnification. So it's very unusual. It allows you to get,
Yeah.
you know, interesting shots. But for example, a rug or a dog's fur, right? At first you take a picture, but then you go with a microscopic lens and you get within, I don't know, it's like 2 millimeters or so of the subject. The camera actually has a little light, a ring light around the camera lens to light up the area, but you capture things that you would see in a microscope truly. I mean, you see a
Oh, wow.
hair on a dog and you can almost
Uh-huh.
see the details of the hair. I mean, it's really for being creative. It's not anything practical, but it's
Yeah.
it's kind of it's the first time we've seen something like this. So it's kind of
Yeah,
neat
that's
that,
neat.
you know, with all of these different phones and everything, there's somebody's doing something unique, right?
Yeah. Y I
Go ahead.
Well, I think it's really interesting. That could be like I'm thinking of maybe like a small business owner who like does trades or crafts or something. You could really get in there and like show the detail of something like that. I don't that's definitely a very specific use case, but that's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. And it's funny if you in my gallery that's associated with that review, I would do the close-up shot and then the next one in the gallery was what it actually was. And it was kind of a fun thing to see if people could guess, the orange skin, orange peel or something, and then could you really tell what it actually was in real life, which is kind of funny. Um, Another one that I just used actually down in Florida a couple weeks ago is the Cat S62 Pro. This one I labeled best phone for thermal imaging. You might be, what does that mean, right? And it has a Sony 12 megapixel normal camera lens on it, but then it has this FLIR Lepton 3.5 infrared, right? So this other lens on it can actually sense heat signatures and measure heat, right? So I was on this shipyard doing some testing, and you could hold up this phone and it would have the engine that's in the ship, and then it would show you temperature of that machinery, and it had it in different colors, and over on the other side it would tell you, this temperature was 135, this was 100. So it's kind of a predator sensor, kind of heat sensor thing, right? You see the predator movies or whatever. It's like a heat sensor on a phone, and they have dedicated FLIR cameras for this kind of thing,
Mhm.
but it's nice to have it on the phone if you're in an outdoor work environment and you need to check some heat hot spots of a fire, for example, or
Mhm.
electrical panels, see which switch is energized and things like that. So that's pretty unique.
Yeah, I think one thing phone manufacturers are going to have to start doing is really putting a twist on their cameras and their lenses because so many of them are similar, but that having a thermal camera is not something my iPhone can do.
Right, right. And like you talked about in your opening how all phones are very powerful. A lot of them look kind of the same nowadays with a big screen on the front and minimal bezels and all that. And I think the cameras really are where they're starting to differentiate a bit.
Mhm.
Um, and everybody always says, well, Samsung and Apple. And speaking of Samsung, if you look on my list, there's actually four Samsung phones on there. And people may argue that the new S21 Ultra is better than the iPhone 12 line. and they may be in some circumstances. One area is that the S21 Ultra actually has, so it has four rear cameras, and two are actually telephoto cameras. One has um, 10x optical, and the other one has 3 by optical. So you can actually get, they work together, which is unusual to have two telephoto lenses that work together to provide an amazing zoom experience, right? Some people like to zoom in and, for sporting events or something where they can't quite see something out there.
Mhm.
And in some cases you get up to about a 30x zoom, and that's pretty practical. Beyond that, when you start getting to 50 and things, it's kind of crazy. But for certain use cases, you might need to see something that's that far out, so there is a use case for that as well.
Mhm.
And one other thing I'll mention is almost every camera nowadays, right, that, okay, a few years ago, we had one camera on the back of our phones. Now we have two, three, four. There's a lot of cameras on the back. It's kind of standardized now, though, that we have one main camera that's just kind of the default camera, and
Mhm.
then an ultra wide camera. There was kind of a period of time where it was either telephoto or ultra wide, and the industry's kind of gone with a standard camera and an ultra wide camera. And then
Mhm.
beyond that is where they start to, kind of differentiate things.
Yeah. With all things phone, there are a lot of people on each side who are going to say, this is the best. No, this is the best. And it doesn't matter if you're talking cameras or hardware or RAM, whatever. People are going to say, mine's faster. This is better. But I think this is a really extensive list. And some of those really unique ones, that's really cool. I'm still thinking about that thermal camera. I don't know what I could use that for, but I just feel like I should test that
You
out.
can point it at your dog and see how hot he is running, during the summer.
When it's really warm outside, I can make sure he's not overheating or
That's
anything.
right.
All right, Matt, thank you so much. Thanks for breaking this down. Down below, we've got links to all of these phones so you can test the camera out for yourself. Thanks so much for watching.